will talk about a revolutionary act communicated in UK by a minority of our population which until recently there were not well regulated. This fact was the support that the miners received by a part of gays and lesbians. The collective of homosexuals set up an organization called Lesbians and Gays Support the Miners, LGSM, that achieved a collection of £20,000. This fact marked a before and after in the modern society, thanks to the support that the homosexuals community received later from the miners. Recently, in 2014, like a commemoration to the event, Matthews Warchus carried out the feeling of pride, a shooting that interested that activists of the LGSM group, giving an idea of how it was and how it performed the collections. To be in charge of this production, it was been a big honor for me. It was allowed me to meet and give constantly of the heroic activities by a minority. However, it was meant a great collage for me to carry it out. One of the difficulties that I found was at the time of informing correctly about the topic and to be as faulty as possible to the original story. And in the same time, I had to obtain a funny content to attract the public. I think that we have achieved to reflect with exit the cultural moment and reflect that the people with that mentality reside.
So, the government of Thatcher had impounded funds of the National Union of Mine Workers, which made that the sending donations to the syndicate for support the strike were pointless. Various groups of support in UK were encouraged to fraternize directly with different miner communities of UK, Scotland and Wales. Lesbians and Gays Support the Miners was joined by Mark Ashton and her friend Mike. After both had recollected collections for the miners in the London Pride March, LGSM Group of London was fraternized with groups of support to the miners of Neath, Dulais and Swansea Valleys. In addition to collect approximately £20,000 for the families that stayed in the strike, there were mutual visits. It incited to strengthen ties of friendship. The higher collection of funds was the Pits and Pervets. It was realized at the Electric Ballroom in Camden Town, London, on 10th of December in 1984. The alliances that the campaign did between LGBT groups and the worker movement turned in an inflection point in the progress of the LGBT rights in UK. Miners groups started to support and participate in different activities of the Gay Pride UK. In Labour Party conference of 1985 at Bournemouth, for the first time, a resolution was passed that undertook support of the party to the equality of rights for the LGBT people, thanks to the support of votes of the National Union of Mine Workers.
1984 was a year that marked my life. It was one of the hardest years and at the same time it made me realize how I am. With only 20 years old, I started to enter in an environment where I felt more comfortable. I found this environment in the homosexuality. At the time I entered in this world, I was well received, and in so much that they proposed me to be part of LGSM movement. To be in the organization contribute me different things. First of all, is that it's wrong to judge only in base of the stereotypes, if not to check the things by oneself. That year was kind of weird. I can say with no doubt that 1984 was the best year of my life. In that year, my whole life changed a lot, and it was all for the LGSM group. I stopped going to university, my parents discovered that I'm gay, I left home, I began to manifest and fight for the LGBT rights. I learned a lot from all of them in the time I had stayed with the LGSM group, especially from Mark Ashton. He was a hero for me, and all the group missed him a lot when he passed away. I love the idea to represent his story in a film. That helps a lot because people will know how all happened and how all of us sacrifice ourselves to fight for our rights.
In today's program discussions, our special guest will talk about interesting topics related to Pride, the new comedy film about LGSM group.
In my opinion, it's a very good idea doing a movie about this topic, but I think that they put too much humor for serious topics like the ones we see in Pride.
But that humor is an important part of the movie. We just can't put a documentary film in a cinemas. You have to create different kinds of moments for the enjoyment of the viewers.
I'm okay with that, but I think that there are important details that happen in reality, but the movie just ignore them.
Exactly. An obviously example is the fact that Ashton was communist, thing that the movie don't say anywhere.
Yes, there are things that I didn't put in the movies because I thought that they weren't too important for the main history. I'm in my point of the viewers, the fact that Aston was a communist doesn't affect that LGSM group. If you think about it, that was an incoherent idea because nobody said that they will return the favor. It seems much more intelligent doing a campaign searching reinforcement for your own cases.
I'm not okay with that idea. In my opinion, it was a brilliant idea for the fact that when you support people that there are in a similar situation, you create friends that will come to help you sooner or later.
At the beginning, when they proposed the idea, I didn't understand why were they doing that, but with time I comprehend that it was all of us versus the government.
In my opinion, they would acceptable the LGBT right sooner or later. Also, I don't deny that this fact was great impulse for the British society.
The fact that the miners give us back the favor of supporting us to achieve our rights was really amazing. They avoided much suffering to a lot of people.
In fact, that was not just important for the homosexuals. It was important for all the LGBT people who live in UK.
I don't know if it was the best form, but it seemed me a great idea, the fact that they wanted to enhance that moment of UK's history.
I'm agree with him. The fact was is the reason why we began to film the movie.
I don't say that it isn't a good idea, but in my opinion, it was better to put that history in a book than in a film.
Unfortunately, the young people don't usually spend their time reading.
Yeah, but there will always be school works.